Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Islamiah Pratiwi Ayularasati. My student number is 185, and now I would like to present my presentation about the struggle for equal rights reflected in Freedom Writers movie characters, a Marxist literary criticism approach. The first is table of content. It includes background of the study, focus on the study, objective of the study, benefit of the study, underlying theory, research method, result of the study, and the last one is conclusion. Equal rights are importantly to be equally enforced for all human beings. It scopes nationality, race, gender, religion, language, or social orientation. Human rights concept is significantly changing day by day, following the new needs and times. Built upon the phenomena, I decided to focus on what is the type of Marxist literary criticism approach found in the characteristic of Freedom Writers movie. So, the objective of the study is to analyze the struggle for gaining equal rights by Freedom Writers movie characteristic. Benefit of the study: the first is to enrich knowledge about Marxist analysis, second, to give public contribution about the phenomena found in this research, third, to help future research to meet the gap between the past and the future research. According to Ford, 2019, Marxism is a guide to action, a way to change the world in the interest of the exploited, oppressed, and disassessed. There are three categories of Marxist literary criticism approach. The first is class struggle. The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Free men and slaves, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guildmaster and journeyman. In a word, oppressor and the oppressee stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on an uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight, a fight that each time ended either in a revolutionary reconstitution of society at large or in the common ruin of the contending classes. Mark and Engels, 1969, page 98. Second is class and status. People were divided by class, and this made huge differentiation toward social behavior of people and how people see themselves at the society. The third is false consciousness. It refers to a certain state of thinking that prevents a person from perceiving the true nature of their social situation. The research method is the first. The type of the research is library research. It uses the data from phrases and sentences and the data source from the transcript of the movie and using observation and documentation to collect the data. Then to analyze the data, it uses reduction, data display, and conclusion. So the result of the study is first, there are found three categories of Marxism in the movie. The first is class struggle. It shows on the movie at 2.25 Eva tribes become the oppressed while the police become an oppressor. The conversation can be seen at your screen. As it is a police, they ask Eva, ask Eva's father to go outside. Then they took him. At that time, Eva became the oppressed because the police take his father away. And then the second is class and status. At that time, Mrs. Campbell have a big power at the school, so he pressed Mr. Cruel, Mrs. Cruel at schools. Mrs. Campbell has the power distribution at school because she controls the school management has rights to be implemented based on school program. However, when Cruel asked her for getting books from library, she ignored it. She didn't hear any reasons Cruel's side toward it. It can be seen on your screen as Mrs. Campbell said, "Excuse me," and then, "Cruel, I'm sorry, but I don't understand. Does the long pitchfork of 8 agree that this book should just sit here and not be used at all?" And then Miss Campbell, let me explain. It is called site-based instruction. It means that I and the principal each have the authority to make these kinds of decisions without having to go to the board, who have bigger problems to solve. Do you understand how it works now? At the time, Mrs. Campbell, using her power to make Cruel move into another opinion. The last is false consciousness. At the time, students of the class, such as Marcus, Eva, and Andre, at the first didn't believe Cruel. It can be seen on the conversation between Marcus and Cruel. Marcus, you don't know nothing, hunger. Cruel, no, I don't, Marcus. So why don't you explain it to me? Marcus, I ain't explaining shit to you. At that time, Marcus didn't believe Cruel, so he didn't want to share about anything to Cruel. At that time, the false consciousness is happened. So the conclusion of this research is the struggle for human rights was felt by Erin Cruel, Eva Benitez, Jamal Hill, Gloria Munez, students at class, Mr. Brian. It is on the class and status category. And in the class struggle, there is Eva Benitez, Randy Ross, Andre Bryan, Gloria Munez, Jamal Hill, Cindy, Alejandro Santiago, and X. And the last false consciousness is Eva Benitez, Marcus, and Andre Bryan. I think that's all for my presentation today. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.